The economic interaction between the United States and China has been marked by increasing tensions, particularly regarding trade regulations and financial strategies. The Trump administration adopted a protectionist stance aimed at bolstering the US economy and safeguarding domestic industries. This approach included imposing substantial tariffs on Chinese imports, with plans for a standard tariff ranging from 10% to 20% on all imports and up to 60% on Chinese products. In response, China has implemented three main countermeasures. Export limitations. In early January 2025, China's Ministry of Commerce proposed new export restrictions targeting technologies essential for manufacturing battery components and processing critical minerals like lithium and gallium. These measures aim to reinforce China's dominance in the global battery supply chain and critical mineral processing. As of 2022, China controlled about 72% of the world's lithium refining capacity, further bolstered by substantial investments in global lithium resources, including in Chile, Canada, and Australia. These export curbs could create significant challenges for Western lithium producers reliant on Chinese technology for lithium chemical production and impact the global expansion plans of major Chinese battery manufacturers like Celgone and Eve Energy. 2. De-dollarization. Initiatives. China has been actively promoting the international use of its currency, the yuan, RMB, to reduce reliance on the US dollar and achieve greater financial independence. This effort has significantly transformed the currency composition of China's cross-border trade. In 2010, the yuan accounted for less than 1% of China's global transactions, with 83% conducted in US dollars. By March 2023, the yuan surpassed the dollar in China's cross-border transactions, accounting for 48.4% compared to the dollar's 46.7%. By March 2024, over 52.9% of these transactions were settled in yuan. China's strategies to globalize its currency include establishing currency swap agreements with over 40 countries and launching the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System, CIPS, as an alternative to the SWIFT network. These efforts aim to position the yuan as a viable alternative for global trade, particularly in regions like the Middle East and Africa. Geopolitical tensions and sanctions on dollar-based transactions have accelerated this shift, with over 70% of China-Russia trade in yuan by 2023. Agreements with major oil exporters like Saudi Arabia and the UAE have also paved the way for yuan-denominated oil sales. Despite these advances, the yuan's global usage remains limited compared to the US dollar, which accounted for 58% of global reserves as of late 2024, while the yuan held only 3.5%. Structural barriers such as China's strict capital controls and limited financial market transparency pose challenges to further yuan internationalization. Reduction of US Treasury holdings. China has been reducing its holdings of US Treasury securities as part of a broader effort to diversify its foreign exchange reserves and lessen exposure to dollar-denominated assets. Since early 2024, China has decreased its net US Treasury holdings by over $21 billion. This aligns with its de-dollarization strategy and reflects concerns about the long-term viability of US debt. This discussion explores the recent trend of China divesting its US Treasury holdings and assesses its potential impact on the US economy and policies. Explore Japan's new strategy concerning the sale of its US Treasury holdings and its broader implications. China's divestment of US Treasuries. China's ownership of US Treasury securities has dropped to 76.1 billion, the lowest since February 2009. This reduction is part of a broader trend, with holdings falling approximately 42% from their peak of 1.32 trillion in November 2013. This planned decrease aligns with China's strategy to diversify its foreign exchange reserves and reduce dependence on US dollar assets. Analysts from ANZ Research highlight a 22% reduction in US dollar assets by Chinese banks since their 2021 peak, signaling a shift towards greater use of the yuan in international trade to boost monetary policy independence and better manage exchange rate fluctuations. Over the past 2 decades, China's US Treasury holdings have undergone significant changes due to evolving economic strategies, global market conditions, and geopolitical factors. From the early 2000s, China's investments in US Treasuries grew substantially, peaking at $1.316 trillion in November 2013, fueled by large trade surpluses with the US. However, since 2013, these holdings have steadily declined, reaching $76.1 billion by October 2024, a 42% drop from the peak. Strategic factors behind the diversification of foreign exchange reserves. China's foreign exchange reserves, the largest globally, amounted to approximately $3.22 trillion in December 2024. Historically, a significant portion was held in US dollar-denominated assets, but this share has decreased from 79% in 2005 to 58% in 2014. This diversification strategy reduces currency concentration risks and enhances the safety and profitability of China's investments. Monetary policy independence. Lowering reliance on US dollar assets provides China with more flexibility in monetary policy, allowing better management of the yuan and greater economic stability. Diversification enables effective responses to domestic economic conditions without being heavily influenced by US monetary policy. Concerns over US debt sustainability. The US public debt surpassed $33.4 trillion in 2023, a 9-fold increase since 1990, raising concerns about the long-term stability of US Treasury investments. China's 42% reduction in US Treasury holdings reflects fears about the growing size of US debt and associated risks, Japan's role, and the global impact. Since World War II, Japan has been a key ally of the US and a major holder of US Treasury securities, often second only to China. However, Japan's holdings have also seen a significant decline, dropping over 21% since 2020. Recent data shows Japan sold $61 billion in US Treasuries over 3 months, while China reduced its holdings by $51.3 billion. This trend of offloading US debt by 2 of its largest creditors has serious implications for the US economy and the global financial system. Reduced foreign investment in US debt raises concerns about potential changes in interest rates, the direction of US economic policies, and the continued dominance of the dollar as the world's primary reserve currency. The backdrop of these shifts includes Donald Trump's recent re-election and his historically unpredictable America First policies. The actions of China and Japan could strain their relationships with Washington and potentially reshape the global economic structure. This exploration delves into these key developments, analyzing their historical context, economic effects, and the strategic environment shaping these decisions.